All right, guys, it's 4/18, April 17th. Hope everyone's feeling well. Take a look at disclosure. Let's get to it. Let's get rid of this. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap. Look ahead. Very choppy day. There was definitely some things to do. I think we kind of had the right plan where we came in. We kind of were thinking fade the open in the beginning, and then as it came in and some things had some traction, I think a lot of us bought a little bit and then just traded around it. It's a very lethargic. It's a very can't play higher. It's a very specific trade. If you look here at the SPYs, not much conviction. You had that 481 low, 554 high, inside day. We rolled down, and then today, you really had to be a surgeon. If you paid up once too many, you got in trouble. If if you faded too early, you got a little trouble. But I think most people didn't do that. The SPYs itself hit 531-ish. I was like, I don't think there's a shot that we get above 533, 536. That's why I sold the 532s. So I was like long the 532s, and I mean I was long the stock and short the 532s because last time I did that, the SPYs went up 19 points and I made peanuts. But anyway, that's that. Let me save this for the long weekend. Bunch of guys just played a little Netflix. Wasn't a home run, but it could have been a home run. Wasn't a home run for me, but I made some money. I was a buyer at 993 was a level, 998. I actually was. I didn't think it was going to get through 993, so I bought 881s and I sold 993s. And some people bought 998s, and and here's Netflix right now. I think I just tweeted to trim some above 915. I mean 1015 if you play it. But all in all, pretty nice move. So now, only stay in it if it stays above 998. It's got to stay above. Then maybe there's more traction. And I think just take the trade. I took the trade into the weekend. I wanted to make a little extra money. But anyway, we'll see. If you problem with options is if you took a call spread, it's still a lot of time. Just say you did 1,000 by 1,050. We were talking that the cost still was like $15 to make 35. So you might not even make money. That's how crazy these options are. That's why I'm not doing options this time. Anyway, the Qs lagged. Two inside days, kind of. One inside day on top of a bearish day. Anyway, I don't really, I traded this a little bit in the beginning, and then it just felt like tech was so weak. I tried Tesla a few times and I lost money. It seemed like the bios were a little better. The IWMs were a little better, but tech is really challenged. It's getting pretty tight here, though. If you move this out, you can see there is a wedgish type pattern building, where it's getting a little closer in this apex, for which way it's going to go. Feels like to the downside, to be honest. But me, I don't love to play to the downside. I try. I make a little bit of money to the downside. Just don't like to talk about it. But anyway, that's kind of what that looks like. Can you guys see in the alpha team? Hello. Just want to make sure. Sometimes you guys can't see. I want to do the recap for you guys too. Okay, cool. So that's what that looks like. And then Amazon, I tried a few times. It's weak. Looks lower. Very weak. It rolled below 177. Couldn't even get back above it. This higher low, I wouldn't call it even a higher low now. And Meta's even worse. I played Meta a little bit. Meta couldn't bounce at all. Just really couldn't. Like it's hovering. I guess you could say it's trying to hang here, but maybe there's some news about how much they owe from being a monopoly or whatever it is, but definitely doesn't look so great. First one sold earlier in the week. It is what it is. Forget about it. Thanks for everyone's participation this week. Todd's been a little rare for him, posting a lot, which is cool. So is, Alan's been on his game. Brian Swapper, you got Steve, you got Matty D, you got a lot of guys doing their thing. This Tesla's hanging on by a thread. If I were to title the weekend, it'd be like hanging on by a thread. Did Trump really say Powell is a a PU you know what on social media? Is that our president? No. Was that a meme? Someone sent it to me. Live on prayer. What? Jersey Boys. Oh, you want to play Jersey Boys? We'll get to that. Apple had a decent day. But look, all of these are so tight. Look at this. Hmm. Should be interesting. If you draw like a mini wedge here, it's getting tight. It's interesting. Which way will it go? It's Apple. With Netflix up, they're not even like trading the spies up after hours. It's interesting. The video looks horrible. I think some people are like, it's just hanging at 100 because there's so much options there. So many people playing puts and calls, so they just kind of kept it here. But we'll see how that goes next week. Palantir. And I'm not going to take the spies home. It's fine. Palantir is tied up here also. Dash looks pretty good too. Look at this. Look at this. How tight Dash is. I just think if we're gonna, it's hard to tell if the market which way it's gonna go. It does definitely feels kind of like the wedge is gonna go to the downside. So you have like a wedge within a wedge. Look at that. What do you say, Todd? Um, Gold. What did you do today? Pull in a little bit. Wow. Still couldn't really come in much. Jeez. It's one of my bigger positions right now. I hate to say it is IBIT. I feel like 4 days, maybe Trump owes some of the crypto world a little love since he stooped Trump down their throat and didn't really come out with the strategic reserve news the right way, but whatever. I've never seen it so tight. Last time it's been tight a few times and it's been like, you know, tight and not work, but the whales wanted it to work without Wall Street. Well, they could do it when IBIT can't be bought by BlackRock, but it's tight, really tight. Yeah, it's trying to decouple. Hmm. What's Netflix doing? It's still hanging. Well, this is what I would be looking at here now. If you're trading Netflix after hours, you could, draw your lines like this. As long as it holds 1009, maybe you have a positive conference call. Say a few things that are cool, and this can take that out. Last trade was really right here. I played the hard money, but this was a spot too. Hmm. Anyway, does it hold here and continue? We shall see. I wouldn't be playing it. You already made the money. It's 428. Go start your weekend. CCJ, somebody asked me. Yesterday that was strong. It's kind of tight for uranium. We haven't traded this in a long time. Remember, we were all over this thing. Up here. I think the last time I traded it was up here. Rightly so, right? Or maybe again, I don't know. Yeah, hmm. Maybe it's worth a look. Is it? Guy that I talked to from the hedge fund world said CCJ is better, but okay. What do you say, UEC? Uh, Maybe it's a little different dynamics, but it doesn't have to be one or the other. It's broke here though, if you remember. Boom, gap here to the downside. Gap doesn't get filled. Bear flag continues. Isn't it so easy to see after the fact? Anyway, I'll save this too. I'm gonna come back here this weekend and do some charts. By the way, maybe do a little meeting of the minds. Really, 546 to 549 didn't get through. Really not much you could say, bottom held the top third. You have 520 for next week, 505 above here. This would be the next spot. This was about 21% off highs. Yeah. All right. How's everybody feeling on the alpha team? Let's see. How we doing? How's the alpha team? We tired? We ready for a nice holiday? We on the highs of our year? We off our lows of the year? We just muddling along? Anybody want to talk? Anybody not want to talk? Sorry that we're not having a happy hour. I do have a water in my red cup. Wasn't really prepared. Feel like you guys are a little tired. What's up, Dana? What's up, Lane? Good day, but mad at yesterday. Why? Oh, you held through. You're muddling along. You're at your highs of the year. That's good. I'm muddling too. This was a muddling week after a good week last week. After I was down a bunch, so I'm kind of happy. I'm feeling good for the weekend. Did some of the right things. All you could do is the right things. No trades in the last 2 weeks. It's all right. If you're underwater for the year, when the S&P's off 21%, it's not like the market's trading awesome and stocks are making higher lows and higher highs, and they're giving money away on trees. There are a lot of people that blew up their accounts this year. There are a lot of people that are down more than the market, so just have a little gratitude. It's also April, so I get it. But anyway, could always be worse, A lot of people, you hear them on TV. Some of this, I heard a hedge fund manager. She's like this more scared than she's ever been in her life. Are you guys that scared? I'm not that scared. 401k every month. I'm 52. Blood in the street account, half's in, half's waiting. Active accounts in cash. Swing accounts, basically cash. Option account ready to go. You had that oversold crazy bounce. Now we're just like range bound, trying to figure out, do we test the lows or make another push? Earnings season. We'll see how it goes. Netflix so far, not so, so decent. I don't think this didn't happen. Hopefully you're healthy and maybe, I don't know if you guys are doing what I've been doing like a little bit of a diet this year. I started January 6th. I was like 195. I'm down to 180. Been taking these creatine gummies. If any of you feel like you're, you know, kind of like just like in a rut trading, workout wise, first time I've taken them in a while. I got the weight down and now I'm lifting, and I feel like I've been taking these for like 3 weeks and they're pretty good. I feel like my lower back doesn't hurt as much. I've been having a numb feeling in my left leg since my back surgery, so my chiropractor said that, and I went to my take an MRI and they said everything looks good, just it's a little bit, whatever the word is, leaning on the nerve. So this, my actual back surgeon recommended it. So yeah, this I just feel like I'm not going to make the shakes. These are easy. I can just munch on them. One serving is the same as a shake for 4, so I have like 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Sometimes if I'm fasting, I have another one. Had one of my best days of the year, which is encouraging because yesterday was terrible. All right, that's nice. A nice bounce back today, considering, the action wasn't so great. Just take it in stride. I've been doing this a long time. Sometimes it's like, we're high-fiving and it's like everyone's, ready to buy another house and a few more cars. And sometimes it's like, wow, I feel like I'm never going to make money again. And sometimes it's just boring. Sometimes it's like the playoffs. It's like all different types of feelings. So what you have to do is control your feelings, so you could just do what's, trade what's in front of you, and hopefully do it in a way that's responsible, that is towards your risk tolerance. Sometimes under trading is good, and then sometimes you better be pressing those buttons. It all depends on the situation. But for now, it's Thursday, it's 4:35, there's not a whole lot to do. If you celebrate Easter, have a great time with your family. My wife's Italian, so it's her holiday. Unfortunately, I didn't really have a Passover. My wife did. I was in Pittsburgh at an AU basketball tournament. It's fine. I had a little bit of matzo ball soup. My parents had a little holiday. Sometimes it happens. Yes, Todd, you take the small wins. Because if you keep the powder dry, like even look at this HTZ. I'm just saying, like, things happen. Things always happen. Like yesterday, out of nowhere, this HTZ came up. I made some money. It could have been a real big money trade. Day one led into a huge day two after a big consolidation. So if you would have said, wow, this was left for bankruptcy, oh my goodness, Ackerman is pretty friggin' smart. He's buying 20%, so maybe it won't be bankrupt for a while. Oh, there's a 35% short squeeze. There you go. 2-day trade that could have almost made your whole month or quarter. So some things happen out of nowhere, and the only way you're going to be able to jump on them is if you're ready to go. Hopefully I'll help you to keep you ready to go, and hopefully someone else, or hopefully just yourself, or hopefully you'll keep someone else ready to go. And that's really it. If you're, feel like you're having trouble paying your bills because you're in your 20s, get a job as a waiter on the weekends. When I first traded for the first 2-3 years, I still did bar mitzvahs. I paid my way through college. I'm seeing bar mitzvahs and weddings. It was after I had my whole concert situation that didn't go so well. I was back to emceeing bar mitzvahs while I was trading, making $300 a bar mitzvah, 3 a weekend, making $1,000 a weekend. So this way, a little stress was off the need to have to make money trading, and then trading started to do well, and I started doing the right trades, and all of a sudden was making good money both ways, and then little by little got rid of the bar mitzvahs, and then I was just trading. So you got to hustle. Got to hustle and take some of the stress off. I did work. I was one of the only guys in Albany with a file of facts. Remember that? I was president of fraternity. We were playing flag football. I was promoting bogeys on Tuesdays. I was going home on the weekends, and I had my little file of facts. Like, there was no cell phones. I also had a pager because I had a girlfriend, and she would page me 831. Does anyone know what 831 means? She was in graduate school. Anyway, enough chatting. Feel like, it's good to chat a little bit here and there. Anyone know what 831 means? On a pager from back in the day, and it's not, I need a bag. I wasn't one of those. That's what most people had, pages. Good. There you go, Frankie. What's it called? Joe Rogan and Elon both take it, so you can get it at GNC, right? Pager. Anyway, all right, guys. I appreciate you. I got to jump. I'm actually going to go get some fresh air and play pickleball with my wife. How do you like that? And tonight I'm going out with some couples. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and do some exercise, and then Chase has a basketball game. There you go. Live life. You know why? Because you never know when your number's called. I appreciate you guys.